People going to a rally and leaving after the rally. Poster, Russian Empire, 1917. A resident of a small tribe in the mountains of New Guinea, shocked upon seeing a white man for the first time in his life. Until 1930, these natives believed they were the only people on Earth. Before you. The remains of Gustav Vasa, a Swedish king from the 16th century. The king who ruled Sweden nearly 500 years ago lies before us, as if on display. Crown, scepter, everything is in place, but only a skeleton remains of the king. A grim but powerful reminder that time spares no one, not even kings. Cyclist on a self-made wooden bicycle, Estonia, 1912. Mormons imprisoned for polygamy, Utah, 1889. Man versus machine. African runner Matthias Kanda from southern Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe, competed against a steam train during his training and never lost in a race, 1968. Scottish physicist Robert Watson Watt was once stopped by a police officer for speeding, after which he said, "If I had known what you would do with it, I would never have invented radar." London Military Hospital, World War I participants, 1918. Election campaign poster with the slogan, "You are the majority, France, 1969. Alice Ulpian, Beauty Queen, France, 1921. Repairing faults on the Graf Zeppelin airship during a flight, 1934. One of the rare photos taken on a slave transport ship, 1882. Military leader Geronimo of the Chiricahua Apache, Wright, who led the fight against the U.S. invasion of his tribe's land for 25 years. In 1886, he was forced to surrender to the U.S. Army. A pipe-smoking endurance contest at Yale University, 1959, USA. Merchants prepare for the repeal of prohibition in Ohio, USA, 1933. Ancient Roman tokens used for paying prostitutes. A pearl diver on the Mississippi prepares for another dive, USA, 1938. Using an old fuel tank as a helmet, he could dive up to a depth of 21 meters in such an apparatus. King George V's 10-day royal hunting expedition in Nepal. Numerous tigers, rhinoceros, bears, leopards, deer, boar, porcupines, and birds were killed with a massive 12,000 crew in 1911. The explosion of a boiler in a steam locomotive, one of the many scourges of the 19th century. Despite strict regulations for boiler safety and maintenance, they exploded frequently, making the machinist's job not only hard but also dangerous. First day of black student Dorothy Counts at Harry Harding High School, USA, 1957. She was one of the first black students admitted but withdrew after only 4 days due to harassment. UK, 1943. A proud member of the Women's Corps shows off her new tattoo, a symbol of rebellion and style. Group photo of the crew of the British battleship Hood. After the battle with the Bismarck, only 3 of the 14-15 crew members survived. In 1929, during the Soviet-Chinese conflict, a Soviet shell accidentally killed a prostitute in a Japanese brothel. The Japanese consulate sued the USSR for 22,500 yen, calculating the sum based on the number of clients and the income she could have brought to Japan over her lifespan. One of the first home vacuum cleaners, Siemens Elmo, 1906. Animal rights defenders carry an Alpine ibex which will be released into the wild. Switzerland, 1954. A girl from Arizona writes a letter to her sailor boyfriend in the U.S. Navy, thanking him for sending a Japanese skull, 1944. Actress Marlene Dietrich kisses a soldier returning home from war. It seems that the guy on the left holding her up is enjoying the view, 1945. Railroad bridge built entirely from stacked logs, Oregon, 1903. Margaret Hamilton, lead NASA software engineer for the Apollo program, stands next to the handwritten code that took humanity to the moon in 1969. A century-old advertisement claimed that heroin kept your head always clear and fresh. Hiru Onoda, a Japanese soldier who hid in the jungle until 1974, believing World War II was still ongoing. English language sign "Here was Forge" installed at the ruins of the city of Forges-les-Eaux, almost completely destroyed during World War I, France, 1917. Nearly 80% of Soviet men born in 1923 died during World War II. Just 3 days after W2 ended, Soviet cipher clerk Igor Guzenko defected, leaking classified documents to Canada. The Guzenko affair is considered the spark that ignited the Cold War. Determining racial affiliation in Germany, 1940. Teaching Papuans how to use condoms, Papua, Indonesia, 1960s. Children using a Bellamy salute during the Pledge of Allegiance to the U.S. flag. A year later, the ritual was changed due to its resemblance to the Nazi salute, 1942. Korea, 1910, a boy and girl in traditional wedding attire, taken during the final year of the Joseon dynasty. A vampire hunting kit, 19th century. The legendary robber Billy the Kid, a symbol of the Wild West. The only known photograph was sold at auction for $2.3 million. Japanese people commuting to work in the morning, 1964. Due to population density, pushing and embracing strangers is an everyday occurrence for them. Back then and now, people in Tokyo don't live there. It's very expensive. But they all work in the capital, so they commute for several hours from the suburbs. There are so many people in Japan and so little land, so bumping into and hugging strangers is common. The jaws of the extinct megalodon shark compared to a modern great white shark. Despite strong pressure from the Catholic Church, Ireland allowed the free sale of contraceptives, 1978. The church believed that sex was only justified for procreation. Ronaldinho once said, "My father taught me that I needed to learn how to control the ball barefoot to better feel my feet, and I promised him that I would control that ball like no one else." But the truth was, he didn't have enough money to buy me shoes. When I won my first Ballon d'Or, I didn't cry from joy, I cried because I no longer had a father. There are theories that Hitler escaped. According to the most popular, he and Eva Braun left doubles behind and hid in South America, where they lived to old age under false names. The photo allegedly captures a 75-year-old Hitler. 16-year-old Hitler Youth member Kay Puncheller listens as an American sergeant reads out a life sentence for war crimes, 1945. Zulu King Cetshwayo aboard the ship that brought him to Cape Town after the defeat of the Zulus 1879. World Bank President Paul Wolfowitz takes off his shoes before entering a mosque during a visit to Turkey, 2007. The Great Depression, USA, 1931. Hamas militants and the residence of Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas after its capture, June 15, 2007. A segregationist rally in the U.S., 1961. The crowd chants slogans claiming that racial integration is a form of communism. Adolf Hitler signs an autograph for a Catholic nun, 1932. One of the rare photographs taken on a ship transporting slaves, 1882. Japanese troops using POWs as target practice, 1942. 1991, Iraq announces a ceasefire and withdrawal from Kuwait. A huge column of soldiers was retreating to Baghdad, but President Bush ordered their destruction with bombers. 2,000 burned vehicles and the bodies of thousands of soldiers were left on the highway of death. A Captured Moth, New York, 1986. France, c. the 1945. Boys staring through a bakery window at trays of fresh pastries and bread. Stubby, the most famous war dog of World War I and the only dog to be promoted to the rank of sergeant. Panic swept the crowd during Liverpool's match against Nottingham in 1989. 96 people died and 766 were injured. To this day, it remains the worst disaster in football history. In 1965, 90-year-old French woman Jeanne Calment sold her apartment to a 47-year-old lawyer who agreed to make monthly payments to her until her death, with the total amount based on a 10-year lifespan. In the end, Calment received money from him for 30 years and outlived the lawyer, with his widow continuing the payments for 2 more years. The burning of a village whose inhabitants were suspected of collaborating with guerrillas. Vietnam, 1968. Carla Bruni with her parents, 1992. Horses used as barricades during the Spanish Civil War, Barcelona, 1936. A Christmas party in Badagry, Nigeria. A 13-year-old boy from the Hitler Youth taken prisoner, 1945. A new oral X-ray device shocked everyone at the 1920 London Medical Exhibition. A French soldier writes a letter during a break between the battles of the Verdun meat grinder, 1916. Harvesting horseshoe crabs for fertilizer, USA, 1928. For hundreds of years, horseshoe crabs were harvested for fertilizer. This treatment of the species had a significant impact on their population. A student strike, London, 1972. 10,000 London students marched against tasteless lunches, corporal punishment, and uniforms. Although the protests were suppressed and the ringleaders punished, corporal punishment was soon banned. However, uniforms remain mandatory in more than 90% of schools to this day. A woman miraculously survived the attack of the Twin Towers on September 11th. Vibration therapy, 1890s, a curious treatment for headaches of the era. After serving 14 years for robbing a bank, John Voidovich got a job as a security guard at the very same bank. The inscription on his t-shirt reads, "I robbed this bank." the head of the Labor Protection and Safety Service, acts as a model during a firefighting training course for McGuire Hospital employees, USA, 1965. It turned out that the American command had planned to drop not 2, but 15 nuclear bombs on Japan. But the unexpected Japanese decision to surrender on August 15, 1945, halted the shipment of plutonium that was already on its way to Japan. Lava flows engulfing a village west of Vesuvius, 1944. Hitler's favorite actress, Russian spy Olga Chekova. She was one of the main organizers of one of the most promising attempts on the Führer's life. But at the last minute, Stalin canceled the assassination of Adolf. Nikola Tesla peers out of his laboratory in Colorado Springs, 1899. Let's compare the first telephoto lens to modern ones, 1900. Above, the father's reaction to the birth of a son. Below, the reaction to the birth of a daughter, Azerbaijan, 1909. John Lennon signing an autograph for his soon-to-be murderer, Mark David Chapman, hours before he was shot. Queen landing at Knebworth Park, where the band would play their last concert during Freddie Mercury's lifetime. England, August 9, 1986. Parisian children enjoying the thrilling climax of a puppet show of St. George and the Dragon, 1963. Memorial cross for the last witch burned in 1657, Scotland. Russian roads meet German vehicles, USSR, 1941. Weapons confiscated from passengers at an airport, Russia, 1991. In 1925, a Belgian merchant, unable to sell his dresses, draped his entire house with them overnight. The police arrived, the town watched, and the dresses quickly sold out. Frederick Zugib, an American pathologist, conducting research to understand how the crucifixion of Jesus Christ occurred, 1984. Polish athlete Stanislawa Wałęsiewicz won the 100-meter race at the 1932 Olympics, setting a world record. Only after her death in 1980 during an autopsy was it determined by her genitalia that she was male, although she had both male and female sets of chromosomes. Cleaning a church, Leipzig, Germany, 1920. Chinese laborers carrying tea bales, 1917. Josephine Garris Cochran, the woman who invented the dishwasher, early 20th century. Black children at the fence of a whites-only playground, Alabama, 1956. In the last century, striptease became popular entertainment at funerals in Taiwan. The tradition originated in mafia circles. Despite a ban in the 1980s, the tradition has survived in rural areas. American soldiers inspect the cremation ovens at the liberated Dachau concentration camp, 1945. A Turk washes his feet for his final prayer as Bulgarian soldiers prepare the gallows for him, 1913. Artist Marc Monnier draws during the Persian Gulf War, 1991, Kuwait. In the late 20th century in the DPRK, North Korea, there was a famine that claimed, according to official data, from 10,000 to 3 million lives. One of the earliest versions of a diving suit, the last known living Barbary lion, shot in the Moroccan Atlas Mountains in 1922, now extinct in the wild. The Iranian Revolution, a crowd chasing and beating a supporter of the Shah. Tehran, 1979. Did this make you laugh, cry, or feel frustrated? Let me know your reaction in the comment section. Make sure to watch out for the next episode. Drop a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Cheers.